Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on Forza 6 with another autocross car build. My vehicle today, well, it's small, it's incredibly light, so hopefully might be pretty good at this. It's the Fiat 8V Supersonic, a very, very expensive car, a million credits, this one, but I think it stands a chance of certainly going quickly. Now, whether it's going to challenge the Mono or not, I don't know. It's going to be very, very tough for anything to get up to challenging the Mono. However, this could be a pretty good car. It could also be horrible if we don't have enough grip in the vehicle. But I'm at the moment hoping for it to be a decent vehicle. Now, for these car builds, they have to be made up to A class. We're going for, well, handling parts are going to be very, very important to these vehicles. You know, going autocross, we need the cars to handle as well as possible. My slight concern with this Fiat is the standard engine probably isn't going to be enough to get it to A class, and I want all of the handling parts on the car, and if I swap the engine, I'm kind of afraid we may end up having too much PI, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. 1,800 pounds, still heavier than the Mono, but not bad. Not bad. For weight-wise, it is also, to be fair, it's actually quite a taller car than I expect. Like the ride height, even with the race suspension, it's still quite high up, but I think we should be okay. Oh, race tyres, we're still not out of E-Class yet, because there's no power whatsoever in this vehicle. Well, we want race tyres. We want tyre widths. Actually, that's not too bad. 245s on the front and, 265s on the rear. That's pretty decent sized tyres on this. I can't remember what size tyres it had on Horizon 2. That's not terrible. I thought we were going to be on fairly skinny tyres on this car. Admittedly, as I said last time, tyres perhaps slightly, I mean, you still want as big a tyres as possible. However, we're going to have a lot less power than we got in the rally car builds on Horizon 2. So, yeah, we shouldn't have too many problems with some of these vehicles. We're going to want aero. The only real downside to aero is the increased drag, lowest top speed. Well, we're not going any speed really. We're not worrying about top speed in these vehicles. So yeah, you can only really get bonuses from it. Drivetrain, of course, of the cars has to stay the same. However, the engines. Oh, okay. Right, we can't get the V10. V10 is out of the question. We are going to have to go for a 5.7 litre V8. That is, we're never going to get the standard engine up to enough power, and the V8 is actually lighter as well. So I think that is pretty decent. Cool, 26,000 for the engine. But yeah, I think that's I think we're actually a bit better off than I thought we might end up being. Just a little bit. We definitely want to diff, although admittedly changing the engine I think would probably give us a diff, so we wouldn't just spin one wheel up. We might come back to dealing with them. Again, do we go for the race gearbox? I think we probably do on this one. I think we probably will want. Hopefully, we won't have quite as silly gear ratios as the Lotus. Right, engine parts. We're only going to get a few of these on, considering. Yeah, we can get it down to under 1,800. One thing I have noticed is that parts make a much bigger difference weight-wise now. You can see here we're dropping an awful lot of weight. The exhaust often does drop quite a lot of weight, but things like brakes and suspension, the brakes drop huge amounts of weight now. I wonder if I didn't pay attention. Okay, these ones here not quite the biggest change. I have seen brakes that have dropped sort of 60 pounds on some cars, which is like we never saw on Forza 5. So yeah, that's something to take into consideration when building your vehicles. We'll get some pistons. Again, this will drop a little bit of weight. We want the cars to be as light as possible. For this one, we want them to handle as well as they can. We're still going to get decent horsepower out of this car in A-Class. We're creeping up towards the 400 horsepower mark. I don't think we'll quite get to it before we run out of PI, but that's quite respectable for an A-Class, especially considering how light this thing is. There we go. We are just under over 400 foot-pounds of torque in this. Okay, small concerns about, sort of general handling stuff. I'm hoping we will have enough grip in this car. I'm definitely make sure we have got the air I put on the vehicle. We do indeed. I love the rear. The wing is just sort of tight. It's just across the boot, and that's it. But if it does the job, then it's all good. Yeah, handling is my concern. A big concern with this car. However, if it handles well, this certainly stands a chance of going really rather quickly. Okay, we are ready here at Hockenheim. The target for the Fiat that's going to try and beat the BAC Mono's time was a 2 minutes 7.7. I've got 3 attempts around this autocross course to get the Fiat as quick as I can. The Mono is a mighty, mighty target time, and I'm not sure the Fiat's going to be able to beat it. Going to give it a good shot, though. I'm really, really hoping that we don't have huge amounts of wheel spin and huge amount of oversteer. That's what I would like. If we don't have them, yeah, I reckon this could actually be pretty good. Oh, we're nice off the line. It does get some wheel spin off the line, as you would imagine. However, it hooks up really quite nicely, which is always good. Get it stopped. Brakes aren't quite what I was perhaps expecting from a car this light. However, it does still get stopped pretty quickly. Now, how fast dare we be? Oh, it's there. Okay. My fears of oversteer aren't really here. However, we have another issue, and that is body roll. There is a lot of it, even with the race suspension in this car. Oh, it does have a liking of moving around, certainly at higher speeds. Oh, there we go. Got a little bit of oversteer, but on the whole, yeah, so far pretty good on that. Make sure we slow it down for this nasty gate, and now we've got the speed. Are we going to be able to take this flat out? Somehow, I doubt it. We're going to have a little lift. Yeah, you can still carry a lot of speed through there. It still changes direction pretty well. You've just got to watch out for it to getting a little carried away with the weight transfer and so on. Oh, and then we get a little bit of wheel spin through this very long corner. I'm quite sure why we're sliding there. I wasn't being particularly silly with the throttle, and we were in second gear, so okay. Just wanted to get yeah, again, you can get it sliding if you're a real moron. However, on the most part, it seems pretty happy to be using the power. Oh, and again, there we go. It's just a little bit more than I would like, but whoa, that I don't like. Why do we do that? I think that's the weight transfer. I think the weight transfer may be causing it a few issues here. It is a rather old car with quite a lot of power, and yeah, it's moving around a lot, which is less than ideal. Right, let's try and be neat through here. Oh, mind the arseholey gate at the end of that run. We made it through safely. Well, it's been a relatively clean run on this first attempt. Got to watch the weight transfer, watch that oversteer, I think is the big thing for this Fiat. Now we've just got this final section. We've got to wait and wait to get on that power, and I got on it a little too soon. As you see it burst into wheel spin. What's the first one going to be? A 2:15.1. It beats the Lotus Carlton by 0.3 of a second on its first attempt. We're still a fair way off the Mono. Okay, that wasn't a bad run actually for a first drive through of the course. It's just we've got to try and get the weight transfer under control. I think the problem that I may have with this vehicle in trying to go much faster is if I do start pushing it more and more, I think we're going to see it sliding a little bit more. It's going to move about a little bit too much to try and get it through the technical sections. So it's going to be a case of trying to find, trying not to overdrive the car now. Trying to find little bits of time here and there, not try and go crazy because it's I'm not quite sure if we are going to be able to do a huge amount. We're going to do my very best though. Right, get it stopped for that one there. I quite like taking a tighter line through there. I'm not sure. I think it's probably slightly quicker than going out wide. I prefer taking that line through there, certainly. Right, a little less on a brake through there. Okay, we got it hooked up. That was nicer. It was nicer through this section. I don't know. I'm not a massive fan of the brake. It doesn't really seem to get stopped much better than the Lotus Carlton did, in all honesty. It doesn't feel like it's a under £1,800 car. It just doesn't quite slow down. Trying to get on the power quite soon there. Right, jump on the brakes. Hey, and we've got it's got lots and lots of leaning through that part. I'm still not quite sure I quite trust it. No, because we're not going to do that part there if we're going flat. All right, we can do the first part, but the second part you can't quite get it under. You can't quite get it under control for the second part. It just runs out of grip through there. Okay, well, I had to give it a try at some point. But the first section we definitely were going better around. Oh, go a little bit wide through there. Remember that one there you cut back to the inside, and this one here is a really narrow gate that I've completely fluffed up. Never mind. This run is one of the kind of exploratory runs. We were trying some things. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. Yeah, I don't like it doing that. just as it starts sort of leaning over on its side, that's when it wants to start sliding, and again through there, get it lined up. Fortunately, we can just about sort it out for that section there. We don't have huge sort of on power oversteer. It's just caused by the weight transfer, I think, and avoid the barrel on the side. Okay, we can definitely get some time off, I think. Can we get... I'm not sure if we could quite get into the 210s with this car. Maybe we're looking at something like a 212. If I can run... Okay, car. Oh, steady on. I've overdriven it through there ever so slightly, and now, yeah. If you try and get carried away with the slaloming, it just wants to keep going, and you fight it and fight it and fight it, and then it all goes horribly wrong. Right, yeah, overdriving this car is very, very easy, and the second you start doing that, the suspension lets it down, and then you're really off. So, got to keep things careful with the Fiat. On to the Fiat final run. If I can have the first couple of corners as well as I did it last time, I'd be pretty pleased with that. That was pretty quick through there. We can't be flat out through the gates later around, and then it's just really a case of don't overdrive it through the slaloms. Don't let the weight transfer kind of get too much, and then you'll probably be okay. But yeah, the minute you carry too much speed through one part, you end up in real trouble with this car. Now, this next bit here, we can still be pretty fast through here. There's still decent amount of grip, just not quite mono levels of grip. Yeah, pretty pleased with that. That was pretty decent through there. I think perhaps the best way to do this is really keep the car almost nice and slow through some of these slaloms, and then really use the acceleration to try and get it lined up and then fire it out, because we can't change direction quite as well. So, you see, like, perhaps I've been better off going slightly slower on the way in, settle the weight transfer, and then try and accelerate away like that. Perhaps I think it's maybe it's only the way I'm going to drive this car now, to try and get some speed out of it. I had to have a lift. Oh, it's that second part. The first part goads you into going faster and faster, but he's trying to get it sorted out for the second part, where you have some real problems. Oh, it does not like that section there at all, and I don't know why. I'm not sure. Maybe it is a slightly bumpy road or something down there that is causing the Fiat to get so unsettled. I'm not being that much of a moron with the throttle, not much more than I am anywhere else on the track, so maybe that's what it is. And again, around here, but we've seen a lot of cars going oversteery around that part. Just normal driving around this circuit, you can get big slides there. No, I hate it doing that. It can take it flat out, but it's just not very fun to do so, as you're never quite sure when it's going to let off. Oh, that's not at all what I wanted. We have got it through, thank God. Jump on the brakes. Yeah, it doesn't quite stop as nicely as I would like. Mind the horrible gates through there. We're okay. Now, don't start pushing the car too hard through this section. That's what got me in trouble last time. Oh, really slow it down for that one there. And now we've just got the final wiggle. The final slalom towards the line, that we can't get too much of the side-to-side action going on, so definitely careful does it, that's not bad, and boot it, go over the line, accelerate towards, it's not much better. 15.7 on that particular run. The Fiat is, yeah, it's a little bit of an awkward one to drive. There's an alright amount of grip. I don't think that's the problem. There's just the weight transfers around so much in the car that yeah, that it's just that little bit too difficult to drive almost. So, on to the leaderboard. Well, the Fiat does beat out the Lotus Carlton. It goes 0.3 of a second quicker. Very, very close between them two vehicles. Get their speeds in kind of quite different ways. And also drive quite differently as well. Interesting to see just how close they come out. Yeah, the Fiat, you just can't change direction quick enough on this course, and that is very, very important thing for autocross. Not a not a terribly bad handling car. In all honesty, certainly wouldn't be too bad for normal driving. The problem is with such a narrow course and such quick changes of direction required. When we have that much body roll, that much movement around on the suspension, it doesn't quite work. Still though, 15.1, not too bad at a time. Yeah, you know, to beat the Lotus Carlton. The Lotus Carlton wasn't too bad or a car either. So it's a fairly respectable time. Still quite a long way off getting near the BAC though. Anyway, that is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.